Continue our conversation as well with our guest this morning. So looking forward to this. We spoke to her a little bit earlier. Let's bring back in Penny Lebyane, media personality. You care to vote for one of those? Let me repeat them for you. Extend the R1.50 reduction of the fuel levy so it doesn't come back in. Remove the fuel levy entirely. More reliable public transport, or subsidize electric vehicles. And go.
I'll go with what you said because that's a little bit... It's going to take time and it's more balanced.
Yeah.
But I bet the popular one would be remove.
Remove.
Yeah. The
Altogether.
popular one altogether would be.
Yeah, I think that's where that's going to go. So good to have you with us, Penny Lebyane. Of course, we're going to talk about your career, Queen of Radio, as well. That's still got the title there. You shake your head. Are you embarrassed about that? Don't tell me yet. We're going to get there in a moment. But we are going to talk about the flag. We need to talk about the flag.
We need to talk about the
100-meter flag.
We need to talk about the flag.
We're going to talk about that in a moment. First of all, let's just remind viewers, if you've just joined us, we'll get reaction now, what the minister said to, it was? Power to Truth?
Yeah, on Power to Truth.
Yeah, here's that soundbite. Here's what he said.
A 120 meters tall flag, which is 10 meter by 15 meter, the flag itself. And during the day, it will be seen. At night, you'll also be able to see it because
it's lit.
It lit at night because the education has to be continuous, both during the day and at night. And the massive nature of the flag is bringing in the steel industry, because
the steel industry. So the pole, is this the pole?
Yes, right from the building of the flag itself, with a lot of cranes which would have to get this very, big, massive steel with a lot of construction material and so on. So the value, as I said, would outlive us. Would outlive us because it is important, JJ. It is important that we make the point that I hear you talk about priorities and so on. But as I said to you, this is a fully fledged branch.
So that was the soundbite, Penny, that I'm sure all of us will know, that set the country into a frenzy as well. That's now been taken on review as well. That got a little bit messy on social media. Just take us through what happened. You're sitting here now. Take us through what happened there. The country wants to hear.
Guys, I didn't come here to talk about the flag.
No, but we need to just ask what happened.
But it's fine. Look, I am a very active citizen. I tweet about a lot of things, and I believe in sharing my thoughts and opinions about how I think about things. Firstly, I'm a very patriotic South African. Anything that tries to unite us, I'm definitely for it. And I'm not saying we live in a perfect country where money has not been stolen, where things are not done. And I understand the processes and policies of how things go about. I think one of my biggest weaknesses is my passion about things. I find it very problematic on social media that if, Dumelo, I don't like you, I don't like how you cut your hair, and then I just start name calling, labeling you because of how it is. Social media for me is a platform for us to engage. You don't have to like what I think and what I say. So in regards to the flag, I just shared a thought of like, look, I mean, this building, how much did it cost? I know it's a private company, but workers in here can say, "Oh, this is an amazing building."
It cost as much as SAA,
yeah, they should have paid us so much. They should be paying us instead of building this building. But this building is going to contribute to the work that this organization does, and it's going to cost money to do that, and it's a private company. And in regards to the flag, I did mention on my tweet that there's a feasibility study. I didn't sit and go through it line by line. To me, for what the objective of what the flag should do, is trying to do, is to, if you've been to Freedom Park, I was there yesterday, there's not even a flag right now. And it's probably one of the biggest monuments in our country. It's a place that represents our freedom, people who have died for the very freedom that we enjoy, whether they were in the war, whether they are
the wall
writers.
of names.
Yeah, wall of names. And look, I'm not familiar with the impact of the steel industry and the challenges, but I know that it has gone through a very difficult time. I think the minister was trying to articulate that. That's his job. That's his responsibility. For me as a South African citizen, what I didn't agree with is how, because I don't like you, and it's very evident on Twitter how when anything that comes from arts and culture, I mean, the department is called the Department of Condolences and Congratulations. Even if the minister woke up or the department posted good morning, there would be a frenzy on Twitter. But you know, and I don't think in the department's policy and framework and deliverables, there's where the part where they says pay money to bury artists. It's actually because there's a need. I've been to so many funerals of so many artists. I work with the Silapa, which is an intervention program on substance abuse, lifestyle management, legal advice, and those are issues that came up, mental health, those are issues that came about. I've been in entertainment for the last 28 years. I can tell you who died where with no medical aid. And let me tell you, if 50 of us of women gathered and said we want to approach a medical aid, we can do it. But getting those 50 to commit is a problem. Is that a Department of Arts and Culture problem? No.
So do you still agree with your sentiments that you shared on social media after the department say they're taking it back on review, after the president saying cancel this thing? Where do you stand? Because I saw a lot of remarks saying, oh, Penny hasn't deleted the tweet.
But why do I need to delete the tweet? Because I'm not making it up and I put thought to it. I really think that we need symbols that unite us as a nation. Do you think we see an American flag by mistake in an American movie? We don't. It's deliberate. The reason we can recite, when we say emergency number, people think 911. You think that's a mistake? Americans do that. When are we going to get to a place where we use things to unite this country? How long are we going to be divided? How long are we going to use social media to disrespect, analyze differing opinions? I stand by that. I believe that flag is a uniting symbol of our country. And if we need to try and find ways to find ways to us to let's communicate about it and disagree about it, but it needs to stand on Freedom Park. There's no flag right now. Not even one.
The EFF also says, the EFF says you're singing for your supper, you're singing for an MC gig.
Please.
Your response to that? Because there seems to be you know, a notion that when a public figure you know, sides either with government or agrees with something government or a certain political party is doing, then it almost puts you in a corner that you're either singing for your supper. Is that the case?
My name is Penny Lebyane. I don't sing for anything. I work for everything I have, and I have done that my entire career. I have served for nothing. I volunteer. I started my radio career volunteering. I volunteer for political parties, for community organizations. I have friends in the EFF. That's somebody who's tweeting an award. I mean, if I really wanted to push this, I can call Julius and Floyd and Leanne and everybody else. They're my friends. So what?
So they didn't say this?
They didn't say this. It's someone who's a member of the EFF. Am I going to take it personal? No. But am I going to engage on social media? Of course I will. I'm a South African citizen who has a right to affiliate with who I want to affiliate with, to do the work that I do without anyone threatening me. And I'm a celebrity because my work is celebrated. I don't live in a bubble. I live in South Africa. I have family in Bushbuckridge, in Pimville. Just same thing when I went to Pimville when Mr. Khomoto Diale died. They said I'm doing that for relevance. No, my mom lives six houses from there. That's my community. What am I supposed to do? Am I supposed now walk away from my responsibilities as a member of the community because people think I'm a celebrity? Sorry, I've been in television and entertainment for the last 25 years. I don't need to be famous. I'm already famous.
It's an echo chamber of social media, though, isn't it? It's a very select group of people. We'll call them trolls, won't we? Is that really where these conversations happen, though? Social media has got its benefits.
Yes, it does.
I'm on it. I'm not particularly active. It does. But it's a very small group, isn't it?
I mean, what is social media in South Africa? It's minus 5% of the population. But because all of us who sit here,
about 4 or 5 million.
5%, because all of us who sit here who have influence and newspapers gather news there, we think it's a reflection of the entire country. It's not. It's just us who have access to information, who continue to abuse the power of the access that we have. And it's unfair for my sister in Pimville, who's not on social media, who doesn't understand the fact that she has to deal with people who are stealing cable thefts, who are not South African nationals, but our helper or the lady who works in the house is another South African national, but is not that person. We have to deal with the realities of this country without our privilege. A lot of people sit on Twitter and they speak from privilege. I'm sorry. I refuse to be in that bubble. I'm not. I'm not an influencer. I'm not a celebrity. I don't sing for my supper. I am a citizen of this country. The same thing what they said about me in the Women's League uniform. I am inspired by Charlotte McClurky, the woman who was in the room when organizations like the ANC were formed, who in 1913 marched for the land in this country. I'm inspired by Winnie Mandela. I'm inspired by Albertina Sisulu. I'm inspired by that generation. You might think that uniform is useless or whatever. They recruited those women in the church. It was a representation of women in the church. Sometimes people say, what do? They pray for this country. Is that not good enough? Is that not good enough that those people pray for this country? There might be other things. We all have a role to play in making this country better. So people must stop this thing of undermining people because, oh, you know, I think you're stupid because I think this is stupid. No. You do your work with diligence. You wake up every day and you show up here because you care.
With regards to activism as well on social media, how easy or challenging as well is it to get your point across, do you think?
It's very
because
difficult.
You have stood beside, victims, you have, spoken about certain incidents, but you still haven't been received well at times. How do you deal with that engagement? You're trying to raise awareness, but then that engagement just lands again in the mud.
You will never be, people will never clap for you. I mean, I think people will clap for you at 22. I used to think when you have great ideas. I'm a kid who believed, if you show up and you're present, you're diligent, you do your work, people say, good work, they'll affirm you. People don't do that. And it's not a reflection of your work. It's not a reflection of your abilities. It's a reflection of their ignorance, their threats, their intimidation, the way they think. It's not my problem. I'm going to be the citizen I want to be. I'm going to be active. I'm going to write. I'm going to talk. I'm going to speak up. Right now when I leave here, I'm going to speak to kids about period poverty. That's what I do because there are kids who can't go to school because they don't have access to sanitary pads. I don't do it for likes or clout. It's what I've been doing. I worked with Love Life when it first launched, imagining an AIDS-free generation. We're not there yet because of some of the things on social media. People post on social media, pretend that they're working, and when they're not working. Girls under 15 and 25 are the most affected by HIV. You know why? Because they're chasing older men to buy bags. It's a fact.
As the queen of radio, it's what many people call you.
Yeah.
It's what many people call you. And as you mentioned now, I mean, you've been in the industry a long time. You're obviously speaking to young, up-and-coming radio presenters, media personalities, one of the first black DJs in the country. And we've just been talking about social media, haven't we? How difficult is it to know what you knew back then and how the industry worked versus how the industry works now? Because I almost can't help but think these days, I want to say Gen Ys. What's younger than me and you? Gen Ys? Gen Z.
Z.
Oh, yeah, Z now.
Yeah, my children are Gen Z.
Are they Gen Zs?
Yes.
They can't imagine a career that isn't somehow linked to social media and social media presence. So in the media landscape, can you still separate social media from being a professional?
Yes, you can, and you have to. Because when you're a practitioner, you need to realize that social media is just another platform. Radio is a platform, a newspaper is a platform, social media is a platform, television is a platform, speaking in front of people is a platform. There's people you can stand in front of who are not on social media. Are you not going to engage with them about content because they're not on social media? Are you going to, if people say, oh my God, you haven't been on TV for a long time. I'm like, I've been working. I've been on Mojo Love. I've been on Honey. Just because I'm not on eNCA, ETV, or SABC doesn't mean I'm not on television. It's about where you tune in and get access. And kids need to understand that. It's about the content that they carry. People is the audience, and all these other things are just the platform.
But how has radio changed from the time that you started to now? Because I've seen a lot of criticism around influencers being employed as, radio DJs, and it wasn't really received well. So is it about the numbers game on social media? Is it about the craft? Is it about, almost understand the medium on radio as opposed to just having numbers on Twitter or Instagram? How do you feel particularly about where radio is?
So radio, is a medium, and as much as it's part of forming or informing and narrating the story of popular culture. It's what Twitter was, it's what Twitter is, but radio now has to work with like social media. It's like you can break things now. But when you don't understand how the different mediums work, you will think, you need to have audiences, influencer audience to come in and deliver. You can curate that on your social media platform. Like you can decide I want to be an activist and really do nothing and sit there and be a cable, what do they call it?
Twitter thug.
Not a Twitter thug. The word escapes me. A computer activist. There's a word that they use on Twitter. I forgot. A keyboard activist. Can be a keyboard activist. Same thing with influencing when it comes to radio. I squarely put the laziness on programmers and people who seek talent. They're lazy. They're just looking for an
easy way. It's easy to find them on social media.
Okay. I mean, I know that you started on radio before you went on television.
I was on television.
You were on television before first, yeah. So initially they used to also do something like that, where they look for people on television to put them on radio. But not everybody who's on television can crack it on radio. Just like not everybody who is in the newsroom can evolve. Newspaper evolve to newsroom television. Yeah. You got to be able to identify that talent and work with it. But they're lazy to groom talent. There's so much talent. I mean, I listen to community radio stations every day. I listen to UJ, I listen to Voice of Us, I listen to Tux, I listen to Rainbow FM. I hear people who should have evolved to national platforms. But no, they're searching on Instagram. And with a lot of love and respect, sometimes it's man liking a hot girl, and they just want close proximity. And,
we need to start saying goodbye in a moment. So we've spoken about how talent is found. Maybe if we could end with this, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the talent for the moment, the young talent. How do they avoid that trapping? Because that's the problem. Because that's why I asked the question earlier, is producers and talent scouts, or whatever they're called, are looking on social media for the talent. How do you, in the last minute we have with you, how do you get talent to bring out their talent and not try and be popular on social media to get a gig?
So firstly, the onus is on the talent itself. Work on your craft. However you position yourself on social media, yes, it must be about numbers, but you must have content, because ultimately you can just have 1 million people following you, but if your content is you posting, it's not going to help. Can you speak with context about fashion? The very beauty industry that you perpetuating, can you speak with context about that? If it's music, can you take me through, who's hot now, why they're hot, what are the influences, popular culture, can you connect to it? It's work. It's not play.
I think that's the back, groundwork that still needs to be done.
It still needs to be done. You do the work.
Do the work, yeah.
I've always, as we say goodbye as well, I've never understood why we have a lot of broadcasters trying to take Twitter onto radio. It's not the same medium.
It's not the same medium.
Yeah, I've heard radio shows where they'll literally scroll through Twitter for an hour. And it's like, I've seen that.
You can use that to inspire a conversation that you want to have.
Penny, it's been great to have you with us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so very much for coming in. Thank you, Penny Lebyane, a media personality. I hope you got something out of that as well. I appreciate the tweets. I wasn't able to grab any off there. I know they are there, though, but we really appreciate Penny coming in this morning.
With that being said,